Hello everybody, my name is Del, this is my co-host Lord Meldor, and welcome to Sky Temple. On the left side, we have the blue team. We have Wayfarer playing White Mane, Dragon Man Dan on the Brightwing, Noka on Karazim, Aurora on Stukov, and Jimmy Young Yi on Li-Ming.
And on the right side with red team, we have Brett Tien on Zool, Plum Zero on Greymane, Rocky Spore on Vala, Lamar Poopsie on Raynor, and Gotenks on Oriel.
So let me tell you a little bit about Gotenks. Have you ever watched Dragon Ball Z before, Brian?
I have not.
Okay, well, never mind then. It's a stupid story.
All right. I mean, that's the impression I've always gotten about Dragon Ball Z.
Ooh, that's some fighting words there immediately about Dragon Ball Z, man.
Oh, man. All right. So this is interesting. Red is just kind of hiding down there. Maybe they're trying to gank a rotation? They're all hiding.
So the first thing we probably should mention about this is the fact that blue team has all healers and a Li-Ming.
Yeah, that's probably worth mentioning, isn't it?
Probably, yes. So this is probably quick match if I had to guess. And because we have the Stukov, the Karazim, so there's damage on this team, especially with the Li-Ming. There's a lot of damage here. But
I'm actually going to contradict you and say, would it be quick match? Wouldn't they try to get multiple healers on the enemy team? Or do they just do it for one healer?
I don't know. I mean, I guess they would probably try. Wow, that's a lot of damage that Zool just did to everybody there.
Oh, man.
Ooh. So I really have no idea how this match is going to go because we've learned that all healer meme teams can do very well, especially in ARAMs. Like, holy smokes, more healers the better almost in ARAMs.
The problem is in non-ARAM, you can start to really, really suffer on siege damage, and this map is really important for siege damage.
Yeah,
so,
I would almost argue that this map is almost better for multiple healers, though, because there's not...
Right.
The objective does direct siege damage rather than having a fight over
you're right.
the objective itself. They fight the team. But
you can win with just objective in this map.
Yeah, so
right.
We'll see how that works. White Mane is our solo laner in this case, and Raynor on the red team is going to go up and match him. White Mane, obviously the biggest problem with healers mostly is that they have terrible wave clear. They have Stukov, which is actually a relatively okay wave clearer when it comes to healers. Brightwing is mediocre. Karazim is probably one of the worst, and White Mane is probably next to him. So White Mane being top lane is pretty weird.
Yeah, and it's going to be very interesting to see how the fights go out because an all-healer team is going to have a lot of sustain. I mean, I think the biggest problem they're going to have with sustain is what we're seeing right now is Li-Ming's mana bar. Yeah,
they should have chosen Malfurion for that mana bar for Li-Ming, honestly, to get a little bit of regenerate or whatever it's called, innervate going on there. Karazim soloing against the Greymane there. The Greymane will probably actually lose that fight because Karazim has self-sustain, funnily enough.
Yes. I think that is likely.
Yeah, he went insight stacks, so he didn't go super damagey.
I mean, in general in red, you're running into a problem where, I mean, Vala's not great on self-sustain, Greymane's not great on self-sustain. They're getting pretty low, especially with this constant just barrage from Li-Ming.
Yep. There is something to be said, though, for the Vala Ariel, and with the Vala battery. Vala and Ariel are a very, very good mixture just because of how much damage Vala can output and how much of a battery Vala can be for Ariel. So if the damage can stay consistent and they don't immediately blow up the Vala with the Li-Ming, there could be a lot of damage potential there for the red team. Karazim gets the Mercs bottom. Greymane's working on the Mercs on the red team side bottom there, and the temples have come up. So let's see what they end up doing here. Blue team seems to be posturing more towards the middle. Temple, gonna gather that. 4 are here. Greymane is still working on the Mercs. He's just now coming up. And Raynor will grab the top temple. That's a lot of damage onto that Zool. He goes in anyways, but he's probably gonna die here, and he does.
Zool was playing like he already had all his talents. You can't really do that as blue build Zool when you only have a couple talents.
So what are I don't play Zool. What are the talents that you really need to be able to stand your ground and do some damage?
2 huge ones. One, you get your... Oh, that might be an Ariel down.
Surely.
No, yes.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that.
A Li-Ming after my own heart, dude.
1 increases your attack speed for everyone you hit with Curse Strike, so they just start coming really far. Another reduces your... cooldown on W, and another heals you with your W.
Okay, so is that like
your W
4, 7, 13?
It's going super fast, and you're getting healed. And yeah, that's about the levels they come at. So we'll see what happens here. Coming in and chasing them off the pad, but I think Blue still got the last shots there.
The Greymane will go down, funnily enough, and Whitemane somehow didn't get the kill on Whitemane.
And this is the power of just so many healers.
What? I can't believe Whitemane didn't die in there. Wow, yep. Raynor almost died.
Yep, and Zool did die because the amount of healers here is just completely insane.
Yeah, you would just never expect that much sustain. And when you see a solo Raynor fighting a Whitemane, you just think, okay, Whitemane's dead. But she just out-healed him until all of her mana was gone, walked down to her team where everybody else also healed her, and she survived.
Yeah.
And Red's already got an experience lead here. Red's already about a level-ish ahead. They're pushing this bottom lane. You know, you always think about full healer teams being a little memey. And it can be, but I think the addition of the really damaging Li-Ming helps a lot.
Yes.
Keep the Li-Ming alive. It's like it's like more than a hyper carry. It's like a super insane supernova carry or something.
We are literally looking at Li-Ming is doing as much damage as her entire team put together.
Yes.
That's kind of what we're looking at here.
Yep.
And Red is not getting enough damage to compete with that. I mean, one of the problems with facing an all-healer team is you basically have to throw out everything you know instinctually of like, oh, we can kill that person. Because you actually can't when you think you can.
No, you can't.
And so you're just not trained to fight it.
So what would you do in this situation if you're trying to beat this team out? Would you just try to race them in macro across the whole board,
absolutely.
not fight?
Stop fighting. Stop fighting. Get mercs, get macro, dodge the Li-Ming, and stop enabling them over and over again. I mean, like right
look how
now,
many
what are
orbs,
they doing?
Yeah.
They can't fight this. They're not going to get a kill.
Yeah, I mean, the red team walked away with more than half health on most of the heroes, and for what? No reason. Kharazim is soloing the Bruiser camp up top right now, and the bottom temple is going to spawn here in about 10 seconds. It looks like everybody is about to start moving down. Kharazim is still very slowly fighting that merc up there, although blue team is kind of posturing in the middle here, interestingly. I guess trying to get a kill on Vala, which they are getting pretty close to doing, but not quite.
And blue team is going to be fairly low on hard CC, so locking someone down. Blue team really wants red team to keep fighting, because blue team can't necessarily force a fight that often or lock someone down. They are going to win by red team overextending. I think red team really comes from get the macro better. And I just missed that kill up there, actually, that blue team did find a Vala out there. I'm curious how they managed to get that kill, honestly.
I don't feel like a Vala should die to a Whitemane, but I guess the Brightwing probably flew in and helped as well. But the thing is that red team is taking all these shots. And so Kharazim's stealing the top mercs. Maybe I was about to say it's going to even out, but Kharazim is getting the top mercs, and there's a big merc pushing. So it might actually even out pretty well, especially if this team fight goes well for blue. And it's hard to say at this point. Greymane is going in onto the Stukov. He has to roll away because Stukov hits like a truck. The silence gets 2 of them, but they're able to walk away. Now there's now 4 down here with the Li-Ming. Ariel needs to be
really caught out.
Oh, nice dodge on the orb. Blue team does have their ults
Vala
up.
is ready to join in now as Kharazim finally captures the mercs.
Yep. Greymane jumps in. Oh,
the Ariel goes down. That Whitemane's not even in a little bit of danger with that much healing surrounding her.
Yeah, absolutely. And Li-Ming once again just basically invincible. She probably should go glass cannon at 13 because she's not going to die anyways. So might as well just do it.
And here's the thing: is Zool's getting this getting some of this value up top, but already he's just having to play defensive, honestly, and that's one of the big problems that Red is running into here is that they can't get an advantage because they have no kills. So they need to find a different way to play this game. Zool is doing macro, but he's basically just playing defense.
Yeah, I think he's gonna do his best, but it's hard at some point. You have to either double soak like a madman or be in the team fight and find a way to fight this fight. Yeah, and I don't see them being able to do that. So it looks like he really is just pushing.
Well, what Red is doing here works way better. Keeping 4 people to just keep blue at bay, and then Zool hopefully double soaking top and mid, because blue is committing all 5 down to this bottom lane. They want to finish this fort off.
Yes, and
they probably can.
Oh, that's a lot of damage to the Whitemane, but she's basically full health already again. Now the Kharazim's really low. 7 Saturate comes out, and the blue team is basically full health, and the red team has 2 heroes that are super low. Li-Ming orbs get shot out all over the place. The Raynor is out front. If he gets hit by that, he might go down. The Zool does get the forward up top. Kharazim's really deep. Kharazim's really... Oh.
But he's Kharazim.
Oh, that was real close, though. That was the closest they've ever had to a kill.
Out of it. And it looks like red team has switched up their strategy. Red team is now... Zool is macro man. He is not going to be joining these fights, at least for the time being. And red's like, sure, yeah, you took our fort that was almost dead. We killed your full health fort. like, or close to full health
And we're
bar.
doing damage to your keep at this point. Kerosene finally has to go respond to that. And I think this is the correct way to do it, yeah.
Yeah, this was a good trade for Red. This is the first time Red kind of found their footing in this game. Note they still have 0 kills. That is not how they are winning this game. But Zool, unfortunately, pushed a little further than he should have.
A little too far out. He will end up going down. And Blue Team...
shield. He does have his shield. And look at that. His ult shield, but unfortunately, Kerasim's ult can counter that.
Yeah, and the ult, the 7-sided strike also took off the poison damage that the Poison Nova did, so he was basically full health when he came out of that 7-sided.
Yes.
Blue Team is taking most of the shots bottom temple here. Which is doing damage to a keep now because all the forts are down. And there's a little bit of fight going on, but I mean, again, they have 2 healers here, and Raynor is being chased down up top and will go down. That basically means that once Blue Team takes this middle temple, or the bottom temple, they can just take the middle temple, and they're gonna because Kerasim's already on it. It's so hard to out macro this team when they just find so many other advantages elsewhere. Like the red team is not playing to the weaknesses of the blue team at all. They're trying with Zool, they just can't figure it out.
Zool was the one thing that he get, but even then he got caught out, and like right now, Zool's just gonna get himself killed doing this. Like Zool doesn't have anything to contribute here, really. And that's the big problem. I think you're right, Sky Temple can be a very good map for this all-healer combination as they just continue to tear Red into shreds because you can't win the team fight.
Yeah.
You just can't. I mean, you look at the numbers, and Blue has basically healed as much damage as Red has done. That is insane.
That's a weird statistic you don't typically see, but yeah, if they were all one person, it would say 100% of team fight damage healed. Kerosene does get caught out, is able to use the 7-sided to stay alive, and the Reckoning comes down, and Whitemane's able to just keep Kerosene alive as well. And
Wymane may go down.
Wow.
Wymane finally goes down. There's an immediate counter kill, possibly a second counter kill, but still.
Yeah, that's two.
That is Red Team's first kill.
And they're gonna lose. No.
Oh wow! The Li-Ming might die for that.
Yeah,
actually.
that was too much. That was too much. She was getting cocky, and she really wanted that kill. But again, it doesn't matter because Brightwing bribed some mercs earlier. Now they're pushing down a keep. So. Blue team is just, again, they don't have the typical team comp, but they're just finding every advantage they can, given their circumstances, to keep red team just beaten and battered. They can't find a footing.
I mean, a second problem that red team is having is they're not actually dishing out very much damage. They have about half, their top damage dealer is about half the top damage dealer of Li-Ming, so...
Yeah, but that doesn't make any sense. You would think that Vala and Greymane and Raynor all have amazing damage. They just aren't given the chance to do it, I guess.
Yeah. They're isolated very quickly.
Yeah. Well,
Greymane is once more on defensive duty. Kerasim is doing a great job just continually grabbing mercs.
Yep. Red team is trying to do a little bit of damage here. They do get the middle fort wall down, but in the grand scheme of things, that's not a whole lot, and they are chased away before they even can do much damage to the fort at all, and they're all low on health, so they have to, you know?
They don't have the sustain.
Level 16 for the blue team to level 15. They're a level. Red team is level behind. The red team is being chased. The Kerasim is all up in their face. The curse ball comes out on Li-Ming, which is immediately healed. 7-sided onto the Greymane. He's able to escape. No, yes, he is, because the Vala is able to stun out the Kerasim chasing him down. He's very hurt. The Greymane has to back up. Vala takes an orb to the face. And red team's all super hurt again. They're losing middle keep.
Yeah.
It just goes to show you that when you do something unexpected, like all healers, sometimes you can just surprise the enemy team and just confuse them enough to win. And this is hilarious. That was a 4v2, and they were able to get 2 kills.
Well, here's the thing that the red is having a lot of trouble with is they are way ahead of blue team in terms of raw siege damage outside of the objective, as you would expect. And they seem to consistently be having one of their team basically missing laning.
Yeah.
The problem is the remaining members are continuing to engage blue and losing member after member after member in these engagements. So they're not really gaining anything even as they split.
Yeah. Yep. And in the meantime, blue has taken the top temple, shooting a keep. That keep will very likely go down. And if they get the middle temple, all the keeps will be down. They'll start shooting the core. There's just very little that red team is being allowed to do right now.
And unfortunately, at this stage of the game, they lost two. They can't play passively anymore. They have to win the objectives, or blue is just going to take all of their keeps with one of these towers.
Yep. And that's what they're doing now. They're trying to fight here, but there's not the whole team. Finally, the rest of the team comes in. Hyperion is zoning the blue team a little bit. The blue team is going in a little bit on Karazim. There's a lot of damage. The blue team is trying to get boss. That's interesting, but it doesn't even matter. Red team's Raynor goes down. Ariel walks back into Scarlet Aegis. She goes down. Greymane is attempting to jump onto the Li-Ming. The Vala's stun misses. Vala goes down. Greymane goes down. Zool is left by his lonesome.
That is going to be game unless something incredible happens on red team here, because all of the keeps are going down with a boss-headed core.
Yeah.
And probably some damage going into core from objective.
I mean, blue team just dismantled red team. And you might think to yourself, well, I guess 5 or 4 healers and a damage dealer is meta. One single tank on red team side would probably have changed the entire game from scratch. Like, just the ability to hold all these healers in place and let this Vala and this Greymane and this Raynor go ham on their faces probably would have ended the blue team's career before it even started. But in places like Quick Match, where you're not guaranteed a tank, I can totally see why this worked.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, on top of that, like we said, this map can be done this way. Blue team was not pushing lanes or getting siege damage well at all without objective, but objective could do it for them. And all it required was them winning some team fights, and they could do that consistently with that much healing outside, outpacing red. So very fun game to watch there. You don't get to see that very often. And there's a reason you don't see that very often.
Yes, because this is one of the few times where this will work. So don't go out into your quick match play games and try to expect this to win all the time. I think this was
Li-Ming also, that's the damage you want. It is so much damage.
It's just so much damage, yeah.